Hi, this is Tina from Information Technology here at the College of Charleston, and welcome to another Tech Talk Tuesday. With me today is Kelly Couch, a new IAM, that's Identity Access Management, Office 365 Administrator, and she has some really great information that we're going to share today. So, Kelly, thanks for being on my show, and I appreciate you helping us out with this effort.
Hey Tina, thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Absolutely. So what we're going to talk about is student Gmail email accounts migrating over to an Outlook Exchange account, right?
Exactly, yeah. So this spring semester, we're going to be migrating our student email accounts from the Google tenant to Microsoft Exchange. So our employee accounts are already through Microsoft Exchange, the at cfc.edu email, but students over the course of the next couple of weeks will be migrated to use that email system too.
Great. And we're actually going to do it in waves, right? So we're not going to just flip the switch and have all of the students be migrated over from Gmail to Outlook Exchange. We're going to go a little bit at a time. So like the first group that we're going to touch, that we're going to migrate, is a small like point of user group, really small. You've already contacted them, so they know it's happening. They know what to expect. And then we're going to gauge how we respond with the rest of these waves of students by how their user experience, the total user experience, worked out for them, right? Whether there was correct resources or they had any trouble or they thought we provided great information or communication, all of that, right? So that's kind of
Exactly.
the way we're going.
Yeah, we've already actually done some sample testing with generic accounts, just test accounts at this point. So in terms of the backend system technology, we feel pretty strong about it. But yes, the first group that will get migrated is a smaller voluntary group that's really just going to help us assess how the migration went from their perspective, how our communications around the migration are going, and just make sure that before we start launching it to larger groups, that we really have a very clear and successful program planned out.
That's awesome. And one thing before we really get into the nitty gritty, let's go to that big question that I know is out there on a lot of people's minds. What about those other applications in the Google Suite for Education? Are they students still going to have access to that? And the big answer is yes. We're not changing anything else. We're just migrating their email accounts over from that Gmail to the Outlook experience. And one of the reasons is because when they've graduated and they're ready to go on to their professional lives, most of those email accounts that they're going to be using is Outlook, right? So
Exactly.
that's just going to help them be better prepared. So we have a web page that's actually set up with a lot of information for them. But let me just go ahead and share my screen so that we can point out some of the resources that are already available. All right, so you should be seeing that student email migration page, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so some of the signage that we already actually have out on campus is talking about the email migration. We've already sent notifications out. We've been making social media posts kind of introducing the idea. We already have started our communication plan about this initiative. But there's several things right here from this page, the it.cfc.edu/student dash email dash migration one / Phew. So from that page, we've got some great information. So basically, we're outlining what's going to happen. Most of it's going to happen in the spring of 2023. That's for students that are already enrolled. For the students that haven't joined us yet, their migration will be later in the summer. We'll have all that information. And again, we're talking about how the change is only going to affect email and oh, well, you know what else we didn't talk about? The fact that their email address is not going to change. It's still going to be at g.cfc.edu for now, right?
Exactly, yeah. So to avoid any disruptions with mail handling, anything like that, or any of our integrations. So Oaks, several other big systems use the at g.cfc.edu address as part of its integration. So none of that is changing during this project. So in terms of like a student experience like that, they're not going to see a new email address or anything like that during this migration project.
Perfect. And see, that's one of the big messages that we want to make sure we have out. Also available from this page that I'm sharing with you, there's 4 different topics in case there's questions, the project schedule, live training sessions. We do have a vendor that it's going to produce the live training sessions that students can register for and participate in. They're about an hour long, so it's very comprehensive. And then on-demand training. And of course, with the on-demand training, there's also going to be PDF documents and things like that that are available. But let's go ahead and I'll bring up the project schedule and we can talk about that for just a little bit. So we do have that pre-pilot group that we talked about. And again, they've already been notified. So we're working on that already. And that migration is going to occur on the 23rd, right? So that's coming up really quick. So far we're sticking to the schedule and that's great. We have another pilot group that's going to start on the 28th and then we're just going to follow through. This is a live page, so we are adding information very often. So I'd just like to say, keep checking back with it so you can see the most up-to-date information. Let's go ahead and look at the on-demand sessions. There are some PDFs and some PowerPoints and a document that are available for reference right now in case you're interested. You might be one of those students and want to see things up ahead before you're actually migrated. The information is there. We are going to launch the web access. So it's going to be emailed on the web, which closely mimics, I would say, how they would access their Gmail. They would get that from the web, so they have similar type of experience, plus some other good tools that they'll have. So there's a web access quick reference guide, an Android quick reference guide, and in case they're using an iOS, they have that there too. So even though we haven't started yet, the information is still there. The full Outlook training that's available, there is a PowerPoint, and then Outlook on the web, if you need the accessible version, it's there as well. Kelly, is there anything else that you want to touch on?
No, I think that's great. I'd say if anyone has any questions or anything like that, definitely use the resource guide. Outside of just listing out any of these training options and kind of giving you some good perspective of exactly what the experience will be like when the migration occurs, there's a lot of information in terms of why the change is happening. But if you have any big questions or anything like that, you can always reach out to the IT service desk. They're always happy to provide information as well.
And the great way to reach the IT service desk is to use that help.cfc.edu. They have a chat function. They'll be glad to hop on a chat with you if you run into trouble after we've migrated your account. You can also submit a ticket for the email migration. So look for that. That's available too. Kelly, I appreciate your effort and talking with me. So hopefully it'll be a smooth experience, right?
Yeah, I think the change itself, I think any kind of change can seem a little scary, but I think through a bunch of different avenues of making sure that this migration is well planned, well executed, that we're providing resources ahead of time, communicating it as much as we can. And outside of just that, the change is a good one. It gives us a lot greater security, a lot more collaborative opportunities and all of that between faculty, staff, and students. So I'm pretty personally excited for the change, and I'm hoping that students believe it to be an exciting change too.
I hope so too. Yeah, one of the things that I'm excited about is that added security. And a perfect example would be that rule or guideline that we had where faculty members could not email their students their grades, to a Gmail account. And that's one of the things that they will be able to do is actually mail that information to the student. So that'll be a functionality that they couldn't have done before. That's just a big plus. And then of course, Outlook calendaring and things like that will just make it a whole lot easier to work with the students. All right. Well, again, audience, thank you for watching today. I know it was a quick, to the point topic, but it is very urgent. Kelly, thank you very much for helping me get the word out. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Additional information about today's topic and a whole lot more can be found in knowledge base articles available 24/7, 365 at help.cfc.edu. More training resources can be found on training.cfc.edu. Make sure you follow us on social media. You will find additional video content on our YouTube channel, College of Charleston Information Technology. You can reach us on Facebook and Twitter at CFCIT and on Instagram at CFC_IT. Thanks for watching. Until next time, have a great day.